Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and today I'm here with a different kind of video. I'm going to show you some of the books that I've bought in the last month and a half, so January and February. So let's get started, and I won't talk too much about the books because a lot of them I'm not too sure what the book is about. A little bit, but anyway, so this one, A Court of Thorns and Roses from Sarah J. Maas. I have read it already and I absolutely love it. It's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. I read it like in a few days. It was totally awesome. So I'll put the books here for a bit and then I'll have to move them off because there's too much. I already filmed this once and the books were up here and you couldn't even see the books. So I'll have to find some other way to get rid of the books once I'm done. So this one here, I have the first one and the second one. The second one must be somewhere else, but this is from Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer, which is her daughter. And this is Between the Lines, and it's an idea that her daughter came up with. What if the people in the book would come to life, kind of thing? So it sounds really interesting. It's like a fairy tale, and so it sounds really interesting. And then even inside the book, I really like it. Like, when it's one person talking, the writing is in green. If it's another person, it's in blue. And then if it's the fairy tale, like the book she's reading, then it's like regular writing. So it's kind of, I think it's going to be interesting. And then there's another one that I'll probably show in a few minutes. So there's that one. Then this one is, it won an award last year on Goodreads, and it came on, and all of these, a lot of these, not all of these, a lot of these I bought at bookoutlet.ca, and they're really cheap. Like this one, because this was ripped like this, I think I got it for like $3 or $4, and it's a hardcover. And this was the same thing. It was, I think it was $7, this one, because there was nothing wrong with it. But it's called All the Bright Places. All the Bright Places, and it's about two teenagers that go up on a tower, and I think they were there to commit suicide. But then they kind of find each other, and then I don't know what else happens, but it sounds good. Then this is The Kiss of Deception, and then there's a sequel to that, The Heart of Betrayal, which I don't have yet. But it's about a princess, and she doesn't necessarily believe what her dad is doing or something, and anyway, she ends up being pursued by bounty hunters. She flees on her wedding day, and it sounds like a really neat book, and it looks like a quite fairly, easy read. So yeah. Then this one is Since You've Been Gone, and it's about two teenage girls, and one is more outgoing than the other, and one of them disappears, and the other one doesn't know where she went, but she left her a list of things that she wants her to do. So, such as kiss a stranger, go skinny dipping, steal something, break something. So, yeah, it sounds interesting. Then this is Shatter Me, and it's also, there's a sequel. I think the next one is Unravel Me, and Her Touch is Fatal. That's about all that I know. It's a fantasy book, I believe. And, yeah, it sounded interesting. And it was really cheap, again, on Book Outlet because the cover was kind of bent. So that was fine. And this is Eve and Adam. And when I bought it, I had read the synopsis and I liked it. So, let me see. It's about a car crash. Anyway, it sounded interesting, so I got that. Then this is from Kathy Reek. She's the one that writes the series Bones, and this is another series. It's called Virals, and it's the first book in the series, and it's supposed to be Temperance Brennan's niece. And anyway, they end up, there's like something happens to their body, to their DNA, and they're transformed, and it's viral. And then they have to find, I don't know, I don't know if they have to find a way to cure them or they have to, you know, but it sounded interesting what I read from it. So, and I love bones, and it looked like an easy read. So, and that was cheap again. I think it was $3.89. Then from Sophie Kinsella, Shopaholic to the Stars, and I love this series. I read the first quite a few of the books, Confessions of a Shopaholic, and you know, when she gets married and all this stuff. So I think I only have maybe one missing that I should read before this one, but this was another one that was a good price. Then there's the Lux series, and this is from Jennifer L. Armentrout. And the first one, I have it too. Anyway, it's called Beginnings, and then this is Consequence, which is book 3 and 4. And these were on at Book Outlet for $3.79 a piece, and there's 2 books in this. So this is about aliens, and I've heard a lot of people say that they really like them. And I bought this one because I heard a lot of people like them, but now I see that Sarah Swan is reading it, and she's not enjoying it. So I'm like, no, because this I paid full price, because it's a new release. It's from Alexandra Bracken, Passenger, and it's about time traveling. So we'll see. I'll still give it a try and try to, you know, read it. This one is by Mary Lou, and it's called The Young Elites. And I love the writing is big. I love that. And this, I read the synopsis too, and it sounded really interesting. It sounds like, again, it was like some kind of, this is called a blood fever. And there's an illness that swept the nation, and most infected people perished. A lot of children survived, but they have strange markings. And so it sounds interesting. And this is by Veronica Rossi, Under the Never Skies. And this was another one that was in the scratch and dented, because there's a little dent here, so I'm okay with that. So if I haven't heard about the book and it's really cheap, I don't mind buying it. Like this one, I don't think I heard anybody talk about it, but when I read the synopsis, I was like, yeah, that sounds somewhat that I could be interested in that, so I got it. Now this I bought at Chapters, because I bought the second book that was really cheap, but I needed the first book, and I've already read it. It's by Gail Foreman. It's If I Stay. And it's about a girl that's in a car crash. And so she's sort of outside her body, and she kind of walks you through the whole time she's in the ICU and stuff. So it was really good. I gave it, I think, a 4-star, 3.5 star. I wish you could give a half star, because it was more than a 3, but less than a 4. But I mean, I liked it. It was a really easy read. I read it in less than 24 hours. And then the Lunar Chronicles, I have the rest somewhere. You'll see them eventually. This is retelling of some fairy tales. This is Cinder by Marissa Myers. This is Cinderella, and she's a cyborg. So it is sci-fi fantasy. So I'm looking forward. I wanted to read that next, but I decided on another one. This is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, and this is all about gaming. The only thing that kind of discourages me about this is, oh, the writing is so small, but it's a sci-fi kind of book, and I'm trying to get a little bit more sci-fi and fantasy books, because that's the kind of books my son likes, and I'm hoping that he'll be reading them too. So the next one is also a sci-fi, and it's called Ender's Game. And again, it was about gaming. So I mainly got it for my son, but I'll still read it. I like those kinds of books, so I'm going to read that. I'm just going to move this so I have room for more. Now the next one is also a movie. It's called Immersion by Andy Weir, and when we went to see The Mockingjay, they showed the movie, like the little bit of it, and I was like, oh, that looks like a good movie. So I want to read the book first, and it's about an astronaut that gets left behind on Mars and how he survives. And then this series is by Morgan Rhodes, and it's Falling Kingdoms, and it is a high fantasy book. And again, I love that. Like, I read, like I said, A Court of Thorns and Roses, which was a fantasy book, and I'm totally into it. And I love how they're describing all the different creatures and stuff, so I'm sure I'm going to love this too. So I got the second book. It's called Rebel Springs by Morgan Rhodes. There's 4 books, so I'll have to get the other ones once I read those 2. Then this is the beginning of a series 2, The Reckoners, book 1 by Brandon Sanderson. I've heard nothing but good things. And again, this is, I think it's a fantasy book. Not really sure about the categories, whether it's sci-fi or fantasy, but it sounded interesting. And as soon as it's series, I love it. I want to read it. This I got at Book Outlet, and it was super cheap. All these I got at Book Outlet, super cheap, except for these. I got them at Chapters. They were $10 each, though, so not too bad. And this is the book 2 of If I Stay. This one is Where She Went. So it's the second book. So I'll probably read that after the next book I read. I kind of go like kind of a more thicker book, and then I do a smaller, thinner book, and back and forth. Now this one was in a scratches and dents, and the only thing that they promise you is that it'll be readable. Now the only thing wrong with this one is it doesn't have the outside sleeve, and it's by Rainbow Rowell, Eleanor and Park. And I've heard a lot of people say that they liked her books, so I got this one here, and it was super cheap. It was like $2.89 or something. So I didn't mind getting that at all. There we go. This is the first book of the Lux series. It's called Lux Beginnings. It has the first 2 books, which is Obsidian and Onyx. And again, it's Jennifer L. Armentrout, and it's about aliens, an alien that lives next door, which it sounds really good. I've heard only good things about this series, so can't wait to read it. Now this is the same book as Obsidian, but in Damon's point of view. And this again was super cheap at Book Outlet. So I have the whole series now. I have book 5 too, and I have the novella, and I have this. So I'm all ready to read that. Now, this is a Divergent collection. It's the 4th book, and it's called 4. And we had bought all the other books for my son quite a few years ago. So I don't have to go out and buy them because I have them right here. So I already have Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant. And now I got 4. So when I'm ready to read this series, I'll have all of them. And that's the one that's the movie, and it's apparently really good. Now this is some light reading. It's from Stephanie Perkins, and it's Anna and the French Kiss. And again, I got this at Book Outlet. It was a few dollars, like $3. I think for all 3 books, I might have paid a little bit, maybe $12 for all 3. So that's the first one. Then it's Lola and the Boy Next Door. And then it's Ilsa and the Happily Ever After. And I think I paid a little bit more for this one because it is a hardcover. They didn't have the paperback, which, yeah, I wish they all matched, but it's okay. It is what it is. If you can get them really cheap, right? So I got Fangirl, again, by Rainbow Rowell. I don't know how to say her last name. And this, I've heard a lot of people say great things about. It's not a new book by any means. Fiction book of 2013. So yeah, it's a few years old, 3 years old. But I've heard a lot of people say they really loved it, so I wanted to read it. Now this book here, my son is reading it for school. So I thought I'd get it so if he wasn't allowed to bring this book home, he could read it. But I also wanted to read it with him. And it is about a girl in Hitler's time and how they're hiding someone in their home, and then she steals books to read them. And there's also a movie about this, so I want to read the book first and then I'll watch the movie. Now this one, I know it's going to make me cry, but this is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. It's loosely based on this girl's life, and this is all her journals. And her name is Esther Grace Earl, and this star won't go out, and it was at Chapters for $5.99. So it's all about you know, her fight with cancer and stuff, and it's supposed to be really hard. But and then this is this base was loosely based, and I didn't notice, I got it at Book Outlet, and it's the large print edition, so it's going to be really easy to read because it's huge, but that's okay. And then I got the first book of this, but I loaned it to a girl at work, and it's from Carolyn Kepnes, and the first book is You, which I've already read, and then this one is Hidden Bodies, and it's the whole thing is through the eyes of a stalker. So you're in the stalker's mind. So this is the second part. I've already read the first one, so I'll probably read this sooner than later, just so I can finish that. And I don't know if that's the last of the series or not, but okay. So this is the last book of the Jennifer L. Armentrout Deluxe series. This is Opposition, and then it has a novella called Shadows in it. So that's the last book. Well, the before last book, and then there's Oblivion, I think, or Obsidian, one of the others. And then this is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles from Marissa Myers. This is called Scarlet. This is about the Red Riding Hood. And the thing that I've heard is, like, Cinderella, Cinder is now in Scarlet, but it talks more about Scarlet, but Cinder is in there. And then by the time you get to Cress, which is Rapunzel, then those three characters are in there. And then there's another book called Winter. And I don't know which princess that is because I haven't done any research on it, because you can't get the paperback till January. So I don't know if I'm going to wait or just get the hardcover. And then there's novellas or continuations, I guess. And this one is called Fairest. And this is Lavina's story, so she must be one of the characters in here. And then there's another one, Stars Above, I believe, that I don't have. And this is, I got this at my local bookstore here, and it was like $5. This Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. And some of the times I like to read just books that are just like easy reads, just quick. So I don't even know what it's about. It was just cheap, and I've heard about her, and they said she's a good writer. Now, John Green is the one that wrote The Fault in Our Stars, so this was on sale at my Chapters, and I see that it's also a movie. And beyond that, I have no idea what it's about. But, like I said, I love reading, and the book has to be really, really boring for me not to like it, so chances are I'm going to like it. Now, I got Gone Girl, which I know a lot of people say that they love it, and I haven't seen the movie yet or anything because I've always wanted to read the book first, and I know I'm going to love the movie because Ben Affleck is like, I love Ben Affleck. So the only other thing is, oh, look how small the writing is, but that's okay. Then I got these two books, and again, these were super cheap. They were under $10 for both. And it's sort of, it's aliens again. And the first book is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. And the second book is The Infinite Sea. And yeah, that's all I know about it. But it was so cheap. I was like, yeah, it sounds like some, and I've heard a lot of some people say that they really like them. So, and I've read some other books that they read, and I really like them. So now I have the first book and the second book in the series coming. They won't be here for a bit because I made a boo-boo and ordered a pre-order one with some books that were ready now, so now I have to wait. So the first one is A Throne of Glass, and the second one is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas, and then there's Hair of Fire, and then there's Queen of Shadows. And she's an assassin, and it's a high fantasy world. And this one I got at Book Outlet, really cheap. It was only a few dollars, so yay. This one is a newer book, so I had to pay a little bit more, but it's a good size, so I don't mind. And because a lot of the books I paid only between $3 and $5 for each book at Book Outlet, and so I don't mind paying a little bit more for some of them. Now this, I got this series. It's from Cassandra Clare, and it's Clockwork, The Infernal Devices. And again, it's, well, I haven't showed the other ones, but this is the Shadow Hunters. And I think, did I show it already? I started reading the first one in the other series, but this is Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. And it's all to do with shadow hunters and all that fun stuff. I don't know if I'll be able to put that in there. Yeah, I started reading the other series, which is this, the Mortal Instrument series, and it has City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Souls, and then City of Heavenly Fire. I can't remember if I showed the first book already because I'm currently reading it, so now I'll have to go through all these books and find it again. But so that's what the covers look like. They're super cool. And I'm like that they're showing her because I was trying to imagine what she looked like. Oops. So yeah, the only thing is this cover, this book doesn't match the other ones, but it's okay. The first five ones match, so that's all right. Now the last books I got, which is a huge series, I got the Harry Potter series. Yes, I haven't read the Harry Potters yet, and I need to. I love the movies, absolutely love them. And I got the children's edition because I just really love the covers. So you have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And in Canada, it's Philosopher's Stone, and in the States, it's something else. I can't remember what it is, but it's different. And Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The third one is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And the fourth book is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Oh, I think this is my favorite for the color and everything. So nice. And I hear it's a lot of people's favorite book too. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I really love the covers on this one. And then Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. And then, of course, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know that number 8 is coming out in July. So I won't want to wait unless I'm not done reading these by this July, and I can wait till next July to get because it takes a year for paperbound to come out. So I might wait a year. We'll see. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to binge read those because I need a break in between books. So I'll probably read one and then read something else and read two and so on and so forth. So I think that is it. I have still a few books to come in, but not too much. Maybe 4. And it's just like the second part of certain books. Like I've pre-ordered A Court of Mist Fury or something like that. Fury. It's for the Sarah J. Maas the retelling of Beauty and the Beast. I pre-ordered the second book for that, and I ordered a few other books, and that's pretty much it. So now I just got to get to reading, because I got all these books. But I've done well. I've read about 3 books in about a week, so that's pretty good. So that's it. That's my haul of my books that I got in the last 2 months. Away, I saw that I forgot a few. This is P.S. I Love You by Jenny Han. Now, I don't have the first book, which is To All the Boys I Loved Before, but this was a super great deal, again, at Book Outlet, so I needed to get it. And this, again, I got at Book Outlet, super cheap. It's the second book from the Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer, Off the Page. So that the first one was Between the Lines, and this one is Off the Page. And I love the cover, and I even love the inside cover. Purple. Super pretty. And then I didn't know if I was gonna reading the Mortal Instrument companion, which is City of Bones, City of Ashes. I didn't know if I was gonna get confused. So this is like sort of a cheat thing. If you get, I think, confused, you can find out some stuff. And this is The Brilliant Light of Amber Sunrise. And this is about a kid, 2 kids that, well, one kid that finds out he has cancer, and then he ends up going to the hospital, and he ends up meeting this girl. And then I just love the cover. Then he starts getting better, but she doesn't. So it's about that story. And then this one is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. And this, I just heard a lot of people say that they really liked it. I think it's kind of, I don't know what kind of world it is. I don't know. I don't know if it's dystopian or... It doesn't matter. It's a lot of people that I like watching their booktube videos said that they really love this, so I wanted to read it. And again, it was super cheap. So now I believe that is it. Thanks for watching.